Hello, my name is Saha. I'm in grade 11 and I identify as a Black Muslim student. My ethnicity is Sudanese.
Have you ever experienced difficulty as part of an ethnic group? If your answer is yes, what did you do about it?
Yes, I have. And around that time, I was too young to speak up. But if I was as educated, as old enough, and confident as I was nowadays, I would have spoken up for my rights and I would have talked to the person and make them know that what they think is right is what I feel wrong.
Are there any local restaurant store from your culture that you would like to recommend everyone to try out?
Yes, the store is actually it is a restaurant in Mississauga. The location is 1151 Dundas Street. It is the Westdale Mall. The restaurant is called Nubian Middle Eastern Cuisine.
How can we raise awareness and teach the WCI community about marginalized leaders?
Education, 100% education, just educating students and teachers too, educating them about what's wrong and what's right and how we should be treated and how there isn't any difference and how you should not treat people differently just because of the way they look. So yes, just 100% education. And yeah.
How can we raise awareness and teach the WCI community about marginalized leaders?
A way we can raise awareness is by educating, not only educating students, but educating the teachers too, so that teachers wouldn't give the wrong information to the students, and so that they would educate them about what's wrong and right and help them know that just because our race is different or just because we look different, that it doesn't change how we should be treated.
What is one thing you wish you could tell your friends and classmates about yourself and those from the same ethnicity as you or identifying as a Black student?
Don't be ignorant. Don't treat people differently for looking differently or not speaking the way you want them to. Just don't treat people differently and make sure you always educate yourself on matters before speaking up about it.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm the president of Chinese Club. I'm currently in grade 11.
Have you ever experienced difficulty as part of an ethnic group?
Well, yes, as a person who's biracial and who mostly grew up in China, trying to fit in with another ethnic group is always like a difficulty for me because I don't look like them. So I often feel like I don't belong like in that group. And also like including other Chinese people, including me, also going through like a lot of difficulties because of like cultural differences, language barriers, and the environment change. So yeah, I just ask that everyone is be accepting and to kind to others.
Are there any local restaurant store from your culture that you will recommend everyone to try out?
Oh yes, the Yang You Ji in Kitchener is a really good hot pot place for everyone to try out. Also the Golden Dynasty, also in Kitchener, is a really good, it's an amazing Chinese morning tea place for everyone to try out too.
How can we raise awareness and teach the WCI community about marginalized leaders?
Well, first of all, this interview is like really helpful for us because like we have a chance to express ourselves to people who are like curious and everything. So that is one. Another thing is just to be more curious, like everyone has a story behind them. And we're always here to share our stories to anyone. So yeah, just ask us and we'll just share our experience to you.
What advice or resources would you give to new students in WCI who are part of an ethnic group to make it easier for them to overcome difficulties that you have faced before?
Well, as we all know, WCI is filled with students with diverse backgrounds, and everyone is very inclusive, kind, polite, and nice to each other. So yeah, and another thing is WCI has a lot of like clubs for you to join. For example, if you're like Chinese, then you can join our Chinese club, and we'll certainly like help you anytime when you have any difficulties.
What is one thing you wish you could tell your friends and classmates about yourself and those from the same ethnicity as you or identifying as a Chinese student?
Well, don't judge a book by its cover. I can speak Chinese, and I'm not Indian at all.
Hello, my name is Marlon. I'm Latino from Colombia and I'm grade 12.
Have you ever experienced difficulty as part of an ethnic group?
Yes.
What happened?
One time, as I was traveling to United States, I was stopped by the security. We didn't have anything, but they stopped us because they believe we have drugs because we were from Colombia. I was shocked and felt disrespect.
How can we raise awareness and teach the WCI community about marginalized leaders?
Tell more about different backgrounds, cultures, and have books from diversity groups for our English classes in grade 9 to 12. For example, Latin American literature.
Are there any local restaurants or stores from your culture that you would recommend everyone to try out? Please give us the address.
Yes, they are located in Kitchener. The name is Rincon Latino.
What advice or resources would you give to new students in WCI who are part of an ethnic group to make it easier for them to overcome difficulties that you have faced before?
The advice I can give you is always be yourself, find your place in society without losing your identity, and embrace where you come from and your culture.
What is one thing you wish you could tell your friends and classmates about yourself and those from the same ethnicity as you, or identifying as a Latin student?
When you see a Latino, for example, don't assume we are all Mexicans because that could be harmful and disrespectful for us. Or assume we always have drugs, be respectful and try not to be ignorant.
Okay. My name is Ethar, and I am in grade 12, and I am a Muslim Iraqi student.
Have you ever experienced difficulty as part of an ethnic group?
Yes, I have. Unfortunately, of course, being a visible woman of color who wears a hijab, I've always kind of felt like an outsider, especially in this Western world. One thing that I have done and have learned to do just over the course of my life is definitely to embrace my culture and my ethnicity and not shy away from it, and to help that helps like me not lose my identity or lose myself along the way.
Are there any local restaurant from your culture that you would recommend everyone to try out?
My family goes to a couple of different ones here in KW. There's one called Ammar Halal Meats, and they're somewhere in Kitchener, and they sell halal meat, fresh halal meat, and they also sell a bunch of cultural and Arab foods there, and I think it just helps you sort of remember what it was like back in my old country. Yeah.
How can we raise awareness and teach the WCI community about marginalized leaders?
I think there are a couple ways to do that. One thing I would suggest is to definitely show more representation of minorities at WCI, whether it be in leadership events or videos or even social media posts and such. I feel like doing that will definitely help the community feel a little bit more comfortable and make minorities feel more welcome. Another thing would also be to not shy away from difficult conversations. I feel like a lot of people tend to use the excuse that conversations are controversial when having to give an opinion that's not always appreciated. So I think just having those conversations will definitely lead us in the right direction.
What advice or resources would you give to new students in WCI who are part of an ethnic group to make it easier for them to overcome difficulties that you have faced before?
I would suggest, from past experience of moving to WCI, I've always kind of felt like an outsider or alone. And I feel like one thing that's definitely helped me was to join clubs because, for example, I've joined the Muslim Student Association, and that really helped me realize that there are people like me at this school struggling with the same struggles as me, and it helped me feel a little less lonely. Another thing is if you don't find a club that is for you, maybe make your own club. For example, I created the social justice club here at school, and it was sort of to bring minorities together in a safe environment to help them feel less lonely and help them talk about what their thoughts are.
What is one thing you wish you could tell your friends and classmates about yourself and those from the same ethnicity as you, or identifying as a Muslim student?
One thing I would suggest is to definitely do your own research and do your part as a citizen of educating yourself. It's kind of hard on us visible minorities to answer all those questions when it's not always our position or job to answer those questions. So I would definitely say maybe research, do your own online, or read books about certain topics to further help you make an actual sourceable opinion on certain situations.